Welcome to Trial Revisited, and in this episode we'll be looking at some of the props and the monsters that were created for the show, including the Davros mask by Phil Robinson and the chariot that was made by Dave Price and Tony Myers. Now, just beware, for those of you who have allergies, this episode may contain fiberglass and latex, just to warn you.
So of course, with Terry cast as Davros for the 2005 show, we needed a mask. We needed the Davros mask, and the person that came on board to provide that for us was sculptor Philip Robinson from Durham. And we arranged to meet up with Terry at the Village Hotel in Hyde. We descended on his room, and Phil encased him with alginate and plaster, and we're all there helping to get a cast of Terry's head so that Phil could model the Davros mask on there. And it took a little bit of a while to get it perfect, to get it right. Phil's a bit of a perfectionist on getting things absolutely spot on. When we had that made in different materials, we also realised we needed a chair. So to create the Davros chair for us, we worked with Dave Price, Tony Myers and Sam Payne.
If all goes well, I know those work, so I can switch that on. I know that works, and the question is...
Yes, but they keep...
that will operate his eye.
So we'll come in there.
Now the doctor has returned, we can exterminate him properly.
It's always the little things, isn't it?
Yeah, that front
Excellent.
That's actually going to look tremendous when
Well done.
When those lights are on. Now all we need to do is just finish off a bit of tidying up, a bit of flash paint on it.
Yeah. I think that one's as good as the original.
Oh, it's better.
Oh, thank God for that.
Really, guys, I'm gobsmacked. This is so good.
And the point in time where Davros is taken out of time to go on trial is from the story Revelation of the Daleks. And at the end of the story, you remember that he has his hands, his fingers get shot off.
Here we have the Davros hand sculpted in plasticine over Tony Myers' hand cast. Got some veins on the back there. Some bony detail to make it look a little bit more skeletal. Not that Tony's got unskeletal like hands, but Davros is supposed to be a corpse. So. And he's got a bit of a chunky palm there as well, just to give it a little bit of extra comfort, because the fingers are going to be quite tight. Obviously no need to sculpt the fingers because they were blown off along with the thumb. The actual line of cut is going to be along there, so he doesn't even have a stump really. That's just been sculpted in to help casting up, which is what I'll be doing next. Here we have the actual hand here, part way out of the mould. The job next is to just basically plop the top mould over the top of this. And so from within the mould, we now have the cured latex glove. So we have two of these. The one on the left is the more thicker latex cast, which will be actually housing just a few bones, and will have basically the stump. And the glove on the right hand side is actually the workable one, which will have the metal fingers on the end, and that'll actually have Terry's whole hand inside it. Here's the hand in the mask with the glove. And now, as you can see, there's been some basically poultry flesh added to the edges. That's going to be painted green, just underneath the skin there, to mask the fact it's actually a glove that's passing through the hand as opposed to fingers which are attached onto the end of the stump. Yeah, so those are the two hands.
Quite bloody.
Yeah. I mean, I can actually get another bandage and make it part of the glove. So it slips on. That is part of the glove.
That would make a lot more sense.
And you pick it
Because
off
then
with
you
one
just
eye.
pull the whole
Yeah.
thing off.
I can do that.
I think in terms of speed of actually getting it off and the other one on stage, so we're not spending too long on it.
Yeah.
The other one goes on a lot quicker than it comes off, doesn't
Yes.
it?
So at the end of Trial of Davros, the monsters and costumes were auctioned. We retained a couple for fundraising, of course, but we did actually auction the Davros chair and the Davros mask, one of the main lots of the event. And with a quirk of fate, ended up in the possession of SP Bowling from York, one of the Hyde fundraisers.
I didn't actually bid for Davros in the auction. Somebody else did. And the Trial of Davros was on a Saturday in mid-July as part of a sci-fi weekend that we were doing. And so on the Sunday we were still doing fundraising in costume in the local area in Tameside. And I'd heard that the person who had actually bid on the chair had turned round and sort of looked inside it and said, "Oh, it's not motorised." And someone from our group had said, no, it's not. And they'd said, "Oh, well, I don't want it then." So then we were sort of left with the chair prop, which we wanted to sell in order to raise monies for charity. And I think somebody offered it to me, and I thought, well, you know, I've always wanted a Dalek, but I thought about it. I thought, well, we don't currently have Davros as a character in the group, and we spent a lot of time and effort on the Trial of Davros. It would be a shame to lose the character from the group. So I bought it for the same price that the person was originally going to pay for it. He's just become an extension of my persona over the last 15 years. I've so enjoyed being him. He's just a character that I've just naturally come to be so attuned with and with, and so of any of the characters that I do in the fundraisers, Davros has to be my absolute favourite. So it's a real privilege to sort of bring these characters to life for the general public, and to have the opportunity to bring a smile to so many people's faces.
So we had the Davros mask, had the Davros chair, we needed Daleks. So the call went out to Dalek owners and Dalek builders, mainly coordinated through Gareth Nolan, who was key in getting our Daleks for the Day of the Dalek sequence and the movie Daleks in London. And the operators were fantastic, and they came down to the different locations. You know, we had Joe, Mick, Simon, Jonathan, Andy, Hilton. They all brought Daleks down, and without that contribution, it wouldn't have been as exciting, to be fair, watching that footage that we created for the evidence. So to all the Dalek builders who got involved and the Dalek owners, thank you so much for supporting Trial of Davros, and you helped to make those filming sequences so exciting. On the subject of Daleks, one thing that we were looking for was how could we make the climax of the trial even more exciting. And Team Davros, which was Dave, Tony and Sam, came up with the perfect idea. These guys, the new series Daleks, had only just debuted a couple of months prior to our show, but they pulled the stops out to make a most fantastic replica of a new series Dalek for the finale of the stage show, with rotating centre section LED lighting. On stage it looked absolutely amazing, coming out to join Terry as Davros and some of the other Daleks we had there. Absolutely amazing.
Lunch break.
Hey. Once you get she's wet. It's on the edge of the bushes though. We had Daleks, we had Davros. We needed some supporting characters, and it's not easy to find Draconians and Excellons and Ogrons around the UK, so those were amongst the characters created specifically by Phil Robinson for the evidence filming. So here we are at the fundraisers costume store, and we've still got one of the original Draconians that was used in Trial of Davros, and this is one of the Time Lords that's been repurposed a little bit over time. And the Time Lords for Trial were made by Hilton Fitzsimmons. He did the Time Lord collars, and he also made the very heavy sash of Rassilon that was worn by the President in the production as well. And we're trying to be as faithful as possible with costumes, and this again is one of the masks that was created by Phil Robinson, who, as we've said previously, did Excellons, Ogrons. We'll take a look at the Ogrons in a second, as well as obviously the Davros mask and several other things that he created, including the realistic master face mask that was used for the Frontier filming. So we mentioned earlier on about the Ogrons. This is one of the Ogron costumes, and this material has also been used previously for making some Tyrant costumes. But as you can see here, we've distressed some of the netting effect that went on the arms, and the actual arms themselves come on a separate piece, which is this that you put on, and we had to glue hair all over that as well to give the impression of the Ogron's airy hands, airy arms. And here we have one of the Ogron masks as well, which, as you can see, done in the traditional Friedlander way. As you can see with the Ogron mask, Phil did an excellent job at replicating the style from the 70s. And it actually looks terrific when you see it in the filming for the Frontier sequences and the Day of the Dalek sequences that we filmed.
Hi, this is Terry Malloy here, also known as Davros, creator of the Daleks, and I'm looking for new genetic material. Or actually no, I'm looking for some cash, because we want your cash for children in need, so please dig deep and donate to children in need. Thanks.